In just a few weeks, we're about to witness the premiere of Yellowstone Season 5. We're all eager to know what happens next as well and uncover the answers to a few questions left hanging. Speaking of, for today's video, we'll be tackling one popular fan question. Will Jimmy return to Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone Season 5? The actor already has an answer to this, so make sure you tune in to find out what it is. So, in Yellowstone Season 5, will Jimmy return to the Dutton Ranch once more? Actor who portrays the character finally shares his thoughts. Jefferson White, the star of Yellowstone, hinted at Jimmy Hurtstrom's potential on the program and whether or not he would visit the Dutton Ranch again in Season 5. A neo-western drama series called Yellowstone made its debut in 2018. This show centers on John Dutton, Kevin Costner, who runs the biggest continuous ranch in the United States. But Dutton's ranch's neighbors, including land developers, an Indian tribe, and a national park, frequently cause tension. The Dutton Ranch faces internal strife as well as border conflict as a family drama. Shifting alliances and family secrets threaten to explode. However, not everyone who lives on the Dutton Ranch is related. The ranch employees who work on the land have also been the subject of various subplots in the series. Hurtstrom has developed into one of the show's most likable and realistic characters. He is one of the most relatable characters who had a difficult upbringing but worked hard to make a life for himself. He is later transferred to Texas to become a true cowboy after being taken under Dutton's wing, but it is unknown if he will ever return to the Dutton Ranch. White discussed what viewers may anticipate from Hurtstrom's character going forward in an interview with TV Line. He mostly hopes that Hurtstrom's journey proceeds without incident in Season 5 because it appears that his history has been put behind him and he has chosen to start over in Texas with his fiancée Emily, who is played by Catherine Kelly. He stated that Jimmy will get a lot more in Yellowstone Season 5, although it is unclear if this will take place in Texas or on the Dutton Ranch in Montana. He chose Emily and he chose this new life in Texas, the actor began to explain. I cross my fingers that it's smooth sailing for him because it's a beautiful thing. It's the first time in his life he has a little bit of agency. There's certainly more Jimmy in store, whether it's Montana or Texas. You'll have to wait and find out. Now that we know what Jefferson White has to say about his character, let's discuss in more detail the future of the Yellowstone franchise. White has not yet revealed if Jimmy goes back to the Dutton property. He is correct though, what Jimmy's situation may turn out either way. Jimmy was assigned to the Texas Ranch 6666 during the 4th season of Yellowstone. He first met Emily, the ranch's head veterinary technician, at 6666, where they later became engaged. But as he becomes used to his new life, he understands that when his contract with the 6666 ranch expires, he will be expected to return to the Dutton property. Jimmy has been torn about this because he has stated his willingness to go back to Dutton's ranch out of devotion and his want to go back to the 6666 ranch because of Emily. Jimmy might eventually go back to the Dutton Ranch for Yellowstone Season 5. If he remained at 6666 Ranch, he could have a better chance of succeeding with the franchise. This is due to rumors that Season 5 of Yellowstone may be its final season. A Yellowstone spin-off series called 6666, however, was approved by Paramount in May 2022. So, if Jimmy stayed at the 6666 Ranch, their story might continue there, and they might show up in the spin-off series. Jimmy's connections to the 6666 Ranch in Yellowstone would suggest that he has a future after the 5th season of the show. Aside from fans wondering about Jimmy's return to Yellowstone, many fans are also theorizing that Lloyd might actually be Jimmy's father. Is this the first time you've heard of this theory? Then keep watching to know more. Viewers have questioned whether Jimmy Hurtstrom and experienced ranch hand Lloyd Pierce in Yellowstone are indeed father and son due to their tight friendship. The majority of the previous Yellowstone seasons were spent working together at the ranch, but now Lloyd and Jimmy are poised to take quite divergent trajectories. Yellowstone Season 5 will see the land issues in Paradise Valley come to a climax, and Lloyd will be preparing for what is to come for the Duttons. Jimmy, who was last seen returning to the 4-6's ranch in Texas, is anticipated to play a significant role in Taylor Sheridan's upcoming Yellowstone 6666 spinoff. Is there any truth to the rumor that Jimmy and Lloyd are actually related? It's clear how viewers arrived at this conclusion. As the oldest and most seasoned ranch worker on the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, Lloyd is a natural father figure for Jimmy, who joined the group as the youngest and most pitiful cowboy. Even after Jimmy severely injured himself at the rodeo for the second time, Lloyd was always eager to defend or assist Jimmy when his inexperience got him into difficulty. But the Yellowstone hypothesis that Lloyd is Jimmy's father is untrue for a straightforward reason. In Yellowstone Season 1, Jimmy's grandfather kindly requested that John takes in Jimmy. Jimmy did not need to look back once the Texas Ranch 4-6's took over, where the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch left off, in molding him into a respectable cowboy. Even Jimmy's father and the rest of his family were revealed to be either dead or in prison in Yellowstone Season 1. While much of Lloyd's past is unknown, it is obvious that he is in no way related to Jimmy. So let's take a look at the pieces of evidence that showcase the two are not related at all. The only indication that Lloyd might be Jimmy's father was the fact that he almost treated Jimmy like a son, albeit this does not imply a blood relationship. Simply put, Lloyd has assumed this position naturally as a result of his many years of service at the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Jimmy and Lloyd actually have a closer kinship despite not being blood relatives because they both work as ranch laborers, therefore making them lifelong brothers. This is what having a brand on Yellowstone entails, and by keeping an eye out for the most environmentally conscious branded ranch worker around, Lloyd is only maintaining his obligations. The Duttons also demand branded men to be obedient soldiers, and for newly initiated Duttons, dying for the ranch is also seen as a rite of passage. Lloyd is doing his duty to protect and raise anyone who has the potential to be as devoted to the Duttons as he or Rip is, by not being polite to the man who might be his son. This is not to imply that Lloyd and Jimmy's friendship isn't sincere. It only means that it is influenced by the ranch's internal politics and not by some unspoken blood relationship. In the Yellowstone Season 4 finale, John was so delighted with Jimmy that he released him from his debt to the ranch and even permitted him to stay at the 4-6's ranch despite having been branded. Jimmy Hurtstrom is out there selling the brand as a genuine native cowboy, having been hardened by the infamous Yellowstone Dutton Ranch and honed into a cowboy by the legendary 4-6's. Jimmy couldn't have asked for a greater father figure than Lloyd Pierce or John Dutton, although they are not even distinctly related by blood. This is what the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch is all about, hidden beneath the Duttons' numerous killings and their ongoing influence over the local authorities. For the branded ranch laborers who have no other relatives to turn to, John and Lloyd naturally assume the role of fathers. But if there was a slight possibility that Lloyd is Jimmy's father, what effect will this have on the 4-6's ranch? The future of both characters, not just in Yellowstone, 4-6's, but in any other prospective Sheridan-verse spinoff, would be ruined if Yellowstone somehow revealed that Lloyd is Jimmy's father. Despite the similarities of their circumstances, Jimmy and Lloyd were the worst and best cowboys the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch had to offer. Their stark contrast was what made them an intriguing duo. They wouldn't work as a real father and son because Jimmy is essentially Lloyd in the past, and that's one of the reasons Lloyd likes Jimmy. Even Yellowstone would find it theatrical for Lloyd to visit the Four Sixes and appear in the spinoff if he were Jimmy's father, though. Despite the likelihood that Jimmy will appear in Yellowstone Four Sixes, the Dutton Ranch will need Lloyd more than ever in Season 5 as market equities. The show's villains make every effort to acquire the Dutton land. Given where Yellowstone is going, it would be incorrect to have Lloyd become Jimmy's father, and Taylor Sheridan is not likely to use such lazy writing. And with that, we're wrapping up today's video on whether or not Jimmy will return in Season 5 and if he's related to Lloyd. Are you excited about Season 5's premiere? Let us know what you're most excited about in the comments section below. But before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these. Thanks for watching and see you again next time.